Good morning! It is Monday, and today we are going to talk about why disciplining disrespect doesn't work. Are you ready? Because I totally am. This is a topic that I actually really love, and the reason that I love this topic is because I've been on both sides now. Like starting out as a new parent. As a new parent, oh my God, I had no idea what I was doing, and so what I did was I did what everybody else told me to do, right? They tell you, well, if your child is a toddler and they're being rude, then you have to put them in timeout or you have to spank them. Okay, I tried that. You know what it did? It totally screwed up the relationship. Completely and totally screwed it up. So I want to talk today about why disciplining disrespect doesn't work. But before we start, I have to do, the normal good morning thing. So first I want to say good morning to the Mom and Wine Tribe. I'm going to be speaking there tomorrow at noon. Totally exciting. So make sure you turn in live for that. And I want to remind you that we also have a YouTube channel called Inside Parenting. So make sure you check in there daily. What I do is I upload all of these videos there so that you have access to them. Make sure you subscribe and recommend it to your friends so that way we can actually get a channel that is named after us. We have 80 more likes to go, so can you help me with that? That would be awesome. So I think that's pretty much all the stuff that I want to cover for now. So let's really get into talking about why disciplining disrespect doesn't work. Let's first get into what the word discipline means, okay? So if you want to learn the discipline of a language, what does that mean? Well, you want to sit down, you want to study it, you want to educate yourself, right? You want to learn all you can about it. So the true definition of discipline is education and teaching. But when you say discipline a child, well, then that definition goes right out the door. It now becomes corporal punishment. Hitting, spanking, removing, pinching, making them do what you want to do, right? Yeah. Did you know that there's something called the ACA, it's an act for children that goes across the world that the UN put in place, and it basically says, to boil it all down very quickly, that children have the right to live in an environment which is free of harm and free of cruelty. There are only 2 countries that have not enacted this, that are part of the UN. One of them is Somalia, and they have no government. And the other, guess what? It's the United States. Yes, we believe that our children should be hit and we have the right to do it. And yet we wonder why we have so many school shootings. And why our children are disrespectful. And we also wonder why our children act out. Yeah, 2 countries out of the entire UN who say children have no rights and they have the right to be hit. One is a war-torn country. One is the United States. Maybe someday we'll wake up. I don't know. But for those of us who are awake or who are waking up, right? Let's talk about disciplining our children. What does that really mean when they're disrespectful? Well, let's start maybe most people say, what, teenagers are disrespectful? Okay, they're repeating what they've been taught. I live with a tween and I live with a teen. And are there moments they're disrespectful? Of course. Are there moments I'm disrespectful? Of course. But is it an everyday thing? No. Let's go back maybe 10 years. Let's go to toddler years, right? I can't even begin to tell you how many people I see on Facebook posts saying, my 2-year-old is disrespecting me. My 3-year-old is being disrespectful. My 4-year-old is being disrespectful. They're being toddlers. They're not being disrespectful. Good morning. Toddlers cannot be disrespectful. They're just being toddlers. They're learning their vocabulary. They're learning their body language. And guess who they're learning it from? They're learning it from you. So what do you want to be teaching your child? Because to discipline means to teach. And as we teach with our own actions, with our own voice, with our own body language, we're teaching them how to be disrespectful. And then we're angry that they're repeating what they've seen. Does that make any sense to you? That makes absolutely no sense to me. It's like, I'm pissed at you because you've done what I've done. Yeah, because that's all they've seen. How can they do any different? They can't. They can't do any different. So, how do you discipline a child without beating them, right? I mean, isn't that the big question you want answered? Like, how could I have a respectful child without beating them, without pinching them, without letting them know that I'm the boss? Well, it's pretty easy. You respect them. And you respect yourself. I know, like mind blown, right? Yeah, I know. completely blown. So, what are some ways to do that? Well, it's going to take a little bit longer. I have to be honest with you. It takes longer to communicate than it does to hit. It just does. You know, that quick smack across the face or back of the head or the pinch on the leg because you're making me look bad. So who's that really about, Mama? Is that about you or about them? Yeah, that's about you. It sounds like you need some parenting. Yeah, like maybe you need to be parented first. Go back and parent yourself alongside now parenting your children, because you can't obviously stop parenting your children. You have to grow up. I had to do it right alongside with my child. Like, I was a spanker, and I was a yeller, and I was some like crazy batshit mom who would lose her temper, who thought discipline meant corporal punishment. But yet, I wouldn't, whoa, hello, look at that. Gotta love wires, don't you? I wouldn't let the school hit my child. No, that wasn't okay. I would go through that school manual and cross off, no, you don't have the right to hit my child. But damn it, I did. I had the right to hit him. Well, let's think about that for a second. Does that make any sense? What are you teaching a child when you yell at them, when you abuse them, when you hit them? If you hit another adult the way you hit your child, you'd be arrested. Yeah, that's not discipline. That's called abuse. Like it or not, I know you don't like to hear this, but that's what it is, all right? It's just an accepted abuse. It's totally accepted. That's our culture. So let's just, maybe not accept that and move forward. So some things you can do is learn to communicate. Really, we feel disrespected when our own expectations are not met. That's the bottom line of it. So if we have an idea and an expectation of a behavior that is not in line with what our child is doing, then we feel disrespected. It is an emotion. You cannot punish an emotion. Your child will feel disrespected when you take erroneous things away from them. They rolled your eyes at you, so you're going to take away their Xbox? Really? Like, what did their Xbox have to do with the eyes? Nothing. Okay? They didn't get a good grade. You take away their phone. Really? You really think their phone was the reason why they didn't get a good grade? Probably not. I'm going to say how they spent their time did, and their dedication and their discipline to what it is that is important to them, not important to you, which we go right back to. You feel disrespected. It is all about you, Mama. You. It is you. You feel disrespected. You feel like they don't matter. What matters to you doesn't matter to them. You. Say it after me. You. Or should we say me? Me. I feel disrespected. I. Guess how they feel? They feel the same way. They do. They feel that they don't matter. They feel that their wants, their needs, their desires don't matter. They feel disrespected. And so now you have two people that feel disrespected. Notice the word feel. And they cannot communicate. Why? Because they don't feel understood. They don't feel heard. They are being managed. They are not being led. And you get into this like prisoner and warden conflict, right? The warden has to do what? Has to keep the prisoner in line. Well, the prisoner then has to do what to the warden? The prisoner acts out so that the warden gets their job done, and they know what they have to do, and then the prisoner gets angry and acts out, and then the warden acts out. Yeah, like those fists, just like that. Boom, 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 boom. How many of you have that relationship with your children? I used to. It is fixable. It totally is fixable. But it means that you also have to take a step out of your ego. Take a step back and really look at what is your ultimate goal. Do you want to have a relationship with your child? Because if you think, oh, we can't be friends now when they're children. We'll be friends when they're adults. Well, guess what, sweetheart? No, you won't. Because you've broken the trust that is required to be friends as adults. They're not going to trust you. They're not going to trust that they can go to you. They're not going to trust that they can talk to you because you never were there for them. How can they trust you? So if you're not friends with your child, then you're not going to be friends with your child when they're older either. Sorry. This all goes back to disrespect and disciplining disrespect. You cannot discipline an emotion. What you can do is talk. What you can do is communicate. What you can do is take those few extra minutes. So in the article that I wrote, if you happen to read it, this will sound familiar. If not, great, you're going to hear it now. I was at the park one day, and there was a mom there, and she had a toddler, and she had a tween. And they were doing what toddlers and tweens do. playing and looking at their phone, right? That's what they do. Well, the mom was requested by the toddler to have a cheese stick. Great. So she opened the cheese stick and the toddler freaked out. I mean, total meltdown, like screaming, God forbid you opened my cheese stick that I handed to you, right? Who hasn't been there? I've been there. And then the mom got angry at the tween because then she was like, well, it's time to go. He's having a meltdown. We can't do this. And the tween's like, dude, man, like, I'm looking at my phone. Don't bother me. And the mother was screaming at them, you're not respecting me. Well, you're not respecting them. Respect is a two-way street. One way from you, the other way from them, vice versa. It goes back and forth, back and forth. So what could she have done? She could have taken a few extra moments to ask her toddler, do you want me to open this for you, or do you want me to show you how to open this? Would it take longer? Yes and no. Maybe in that moment, but not the repercussions, because let me tell you, it took a whole lot longer to deal with the meltdown, to pick up the screaming baby, to walk the screaming baby to the car, and to listen to that scream the whole ride home. It took a whole lot longer to say to listen to her daughter bitch, moan, and groan and feel disrespected than to say, hey, I really need your help with this. I've hit a wall. Your brother's melted down. Can you please pick up the bags? Rather than screaming at her to do this and get that and do this. Well, no one feels respected. No one wants to work with you if they feel disrespected. Think about this in terms of a job. If your boss talked to you the way that you talk to your children, would you keep your job? I'm going to say no. Now, chances are, if you are a part of this awakening and you're moving forward and you're looking for a better relationship with your child, then maybe yes. Maybe yes, you'd stay at your job. But if they were assholes and demanded you did things and micromanaged you and disciplined you in a way that was basically bullying, you wouldn't want to stay. You'd be like, I'm done with this. Well, where can your kid go? They can't go anywhere. They're stuck with you, teaching them these bad behaviors. And guess what these bad behaviors do? They alienate. And when a child is alienated, they act out. Alienation is just good morning. It's a cry for help. It's a cry to be seen. This disciplining disrespect, it's learned from you. That's all I can tell you. You have to really look at yourself, say, what is the goal that I want to accomplish here? What is it? What is your end means that you want to accomplish with that behavior? Hey, Amy, how are you, my love? I have missed you forever. It has been forever and ever. It has been 12 years since we've seen each other. So I'm talking about basically discipline and disrespect and how a lot of that is learned at home. And when you disrespect your child, they will disrespect you. It is often a learned behavior. And saying that a 2 or 3 or 4-year-old is disrespecting you is kind of silly because guess what? They are being a toddler. That's all they're doing. They're trying to find their voice. That's it. Now, I'm not saying let your kid run wild all over you, no, because that is also disrespectful, right? Like, there's no way. That wouldn't work. But when you have this two-way street of communication, they're not going to be rude. They're not going to be disrespectful. It doesn't mean they're not going to have moments of it. My God, I do. Like, we have a word in our house, it's tone. And when you use the word tone, and kids can use it to adults or adults can use it to kids, that means, hey, your tone is really off. Because let's face it, communication is 97% tone and body language. Yeah. So, what do you think about that? I mean, I know you are now in Belize. You are no longer in the United States. And what do you think? Like, how is parenting different from there to here? Cool, you watched my 3 P's of Parenting with a Friend, and she said it was very insightful. Awesomeness. Yeah, I've been around doing this a little bit. I keep wanting to come down and visit. So those of you who are watching the playback who don't know this, Amy and I were best friends in middle school and part of high school. And then we went our own separate ways, and we had this big, huge pubescent blow up, like huge pubescent blow up. And we didn't talk for 13 years. And it was actually an ex-fiance of hers and an ex-boyfriend of mine that got us back together. It's like mom dating, right? That got us back together. And we started talking again because I had missed her terribly. All he did was hear me like complain about how much I had missed her. I still have the letters that she wrote me when we were in like middle school and high school when she'd travel all summer long. Yeah, I still have those. And I still have the book you created with all our pictures in it and stuff. So I still have all that stuff. And I've moved a ton of times and it's still with me. But what's really cool is Amy came to my wedding 12 years ago and I hadn't seen her in 17 years. And I haven't seen her since because with 4 kids, it's been kind of hard to make it down to Belize. But I have a dream that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I know you get to the States a lot more than I get to Belize. but it helps with your mom in Florida. But what do you see the differences between parenting in Belize and parenting in the United States? Because here, it's all about corporal punishment. It's all about hitting your kid. It's all about you're the boss. You're the one who does it all. And we really don't communicate with our kids, and yet we want to have relationships with our kids. Like people say to me all the time, oh God, I wish I had that relationship you have with Elizabeth, or I wish I had that relationship you have with Sarah. Well, you could have it. It's not that hard, but it's called you respect them, and you talk with them, and you invest with them, and you don't micromanage them, and you don't like come down on them, and you encourage their dreams, and you walk with them and beside them, not behind them where you push them down, or in front of them where they can't see where they're going. So, and I have to admit, it's been a road of progress to get where I am, because I didn't start this way. I was a very traditional parent who yelled and spanked and screamed and lost her temper and put Elizabeth in timeout and isolated her, and it destroyed our relationship. You know, when I had to, last time you saw her, she was 8, right? Now she is going on 20 and a completely different person. But it had destroyed our relationship. There was no trust. And without that trust, you really, really can't move forward, because then each of you are in that prison warden sort of like dynamic, or prisoner warden dynamic. You as the parent are the warden, and you have to keep it going in the strong fist. And then the prisoner acts up, and then the warden steps in, and the prisoner acts up, and the warden steps in, and you get into this constant fight. But over what? I mean, really, what is your end goal? Is your end goal that you want to have no relationship? What is it? So Amy says, lots of parents here prescribe to the Chancia. Did I pronounce that correct? Chancia way of parenting. My way, the highway, or you get smacked upside the head. Oh, wow, how wonderful. Yes, that's going on down here. Whoa! Look at that. See, I keep catching this damn cord. I need wireless ones. Well, that's major. That's my butt boy. But is that really working? Are you then creating a society that you want to live in? Chocla. See, my Spanish, 0. Well, that's not true. I can say naranjas. I could order oranges like all day long. Spanish for sandal. Really? So they want to sandal their children? Well, it makes sense to take the sandal to the back of the head. All right, but is that creating a culture that you really want? Now, I'm not like pie in the sky, and I think we should all live in utopia. I'm well aware of the fact that we need to have money, we need to have jobs, we need to be able to function in the world as it is. We cannot all live at the beach and drink Mai Tais all day long without some sort of income coming in at some point, all right? But what is this doing to our children? What is it doing to the world that we're going to live in? So we seem to have like these two different ideas, at least here in the U.S. We have the conscious parent, which is more like me, and then we have the I'm going to hit you on the back of the head parent, right, with the sandal, and do what I say. But look at the violence that we have. We say we don't want this violence, but we don't want to change how we parent our children. Well, where does this start? It starts at home. It's not the teacher's fault. The teachers are standing in front of our children waiting to die. Has no one thought about this? Has no one thought that there is a stranger standing in front of our children, and they are going to take bullets for our children? That's fucked up, all right? They're not paid to do that. They're not cops. They don't have bulletproof vests. They have devotion to our children, and often more times than a parent has to their own child. Okay? The teachers now are left with raising the children. They are left with disciplining the children. They are left with being able to have to, it's very profound, isn't it? To protect our children. Now, my children are homeschooled. I don't have to worry about someone coming in, except they come into my home and shoot us up. Right? We go out in the community, we do things. We don't live at the kitchen table. But I don't have to live day in and day out sending my child to an institution where I hope that they don't get shot. They are now creating backpacks that are bulletproof under the auspices of this will protect your child. Why can't we forget about trying to make money on this and all the capitalism that it brings? And God, I'm quite sure that Washington is very excited about these bulletproof backpacks. You know, the company I worked for in 1992 actually made bulletproof Kevlar, and it was so light, those backpacks, they would make a killing, no pun intended, at those, all right? But we need to start at home. We need to start parenting classes. We need to start having people understand that this starts at home. It starts with exclusion at home. That's where it's learned. You learn not to, oh, hold on. Lizzie says, oh, it's National Walkout, April 20th, 2018. We are students, we are victims, we are change. Yes. Good night, sweetheart, getting the kids out the door to school. Well, I'm glad you don't have to worry about them getting shot up in Belize. Bye, honey. So Elizabeth says, high school students are talking on message boards about making April 20th the day they all walk out of school and don't come back until Congress updates the gun laws, as it's their lives on the line. Please share for visibility, as this is a great idea. That's an awesome idea. See? Right here. I don't know. Can you see that? Not really, but it's good enough. Yeah. We have to put it back where it belongs. But even before that, it belongs in the hands of parents. It belongs in not disciplining the act of disrespect. It begins with respecting them. And if you cannot understand that, then we're just going to keep having the same problem over and over and over again, because it's not going to work. We're going to get nowhere but further along in gun rights and anger. At some point, it's got to break. I understand not everybody is touchy-feely. I understand not everybody can do this. But if we can get small pockets of people who are conscious about their parenting, who are aware of it, who care, it will grow exponentially through the generations. So I would love to hear, what do you think about this? What do you want different in the future of your child? Where do you need to work on it? What do you need to do? So let me know, comment below, and we'll go from there. Until then, I will see you tomorrow morning. Have a great one. Bye-bye.